We're back in the
New York groove.
Back in the New York groove.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. That's right. Call to the Bullpen is back. It's been 3 goddamn months since you've heard our beautiful voices. And we have a new, I don't want to say guest host, but we do have a guest host for this episode at least.
For today.
At least for today. Who knows? Maybe if we like him, he'll come back. Introduce yourself, buddy.
My name's Kyle, and
a little closer to the mic.
All right, can you hear me now? Name's Kyle, and yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, got our buddy Kyle with us today. He's a baseball, football fan. Today is going to be pretty much baseball. He's a big Yankee fan, but knows a lot of stats, likes to argue with people, and it's going to be a good time.
All right.
Jared, why don't you kick it off with something?
Yeah, so as everyone knows, the season is about a little over a week old at this point, maybe a week and a half. We got off to a really early and chilly start. I'm not in favor of baseball games being played in the month of March because, I went to the Yankees-Tigers game last Tuesday, the second game of the series, and it was freezing in the stadium.
Hey, man, I don't know. I was down at the Nationals-Mets game, what was it, last weekend, week and a half ago?
Yeah.
It was like 70 degrees out, and it was gorgeous, and I was drinking some beers and having a good time. So, I understand what you mean, but unfortunately the weather is a little unpredictable. When it is nice, great, you get good baseball. When it's not, sorry, it sucks, but at least you got all summer to play. So, I don't know. Sacking it up for a couple weeks doesn't seem like the worst option to get more baseball in, you know?
Opening day was beautiful.
Yeah, that's true.
In the 60s, I believe, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
As long as the games are early. We're in that weird time of year where it's spring, summer from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. and then winter afterward.
That's very true. I just went outside and was freezing for like the 5 minutes I was out there.
So because this is so delayed and we have not been on the air for the last couple of months, we basically missed the breaking news portion of I guess the MLB offseason, because we waited all offseason for Machado and Harper to sign, and they pretty much waited until the last possible second, signing midway through March. And we're not going to dive super duper in depth because it is kind of old news at this point, but we should certainly mention the fact that once they got signed, everybody else started to get their money to avoid going through what they went through this offseason, which is waiting forever for a contract.
Oh, the extensions were crazy.
Yeah, no doubt, Kyle. The extensions were definitely crazy. There was some big guys with some big signings. But before we get into the actual signings, can we talk about the fact that Dallas Keuchel still doesn't have a baseball team to pitch for, and neither does Craig Kimbrell? We're going to talk about signings, but you're talking about a 2005 derp. Let's go 10 more years later. 2015 Cy Young Award winner not having a team to pitch for.
Yeah, but there's a rumor, I sent you that text, that Keuchel wants 6-7 years, like what, 25 a year?
25 a year or something like that, yeah.
No, that's not happening.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, but still, there's a lot of teams out there that could use him, but I guess if he's just not willing to drop his price, which just seems crazy to me. I understand what you want in your money, but I don't know. Not playing and not getting paid versus taking a little bit of a pay cut and still getting paid a pretty decent chunk of change that you can live off of. Even if he dropped it to 18 a year, if someone's willing to give him that, you're telling me you can't live off of $18 million a year?
I think it's... Go ahead.
I think that it's more the longevity of it than anything, because I think that 6-7 years is kind of the max that you'll see for a pitcher these days, just because you never know when a guy's arm is going to go out, especially when he's on the wrong side of 30. So I think that Keuchel could potentially command maybe not quite 25, but in that range, 22, 23 even, if he was asking for maybe 3 years instead, which is what I figured he was going to sign on anyway. I always envisioned him getting a 2 or a 3 year contract.
I could see him right now, and I'm biased. If I'm the Yankees, I'm throwing 1 year, 18 mil at him.
Just seeing if we can get him. We need him. I said that the other day.
Yeah, but the biggest thing is Severino, he's going to get tests. That was, reported today.
Yeah.
If you're Cashman, you almost kind of have to start. You might not have Severino the whole season.
Yeah, listen, if he comes back with something that's season ending or even a couple months out, you're talking about not having your quote unquote ace for at least half the season, if not 3/4 of it, maybe the whole thing. You're right.
Yeah, and I get that CC's coming back, but what are you going to get?
Yeah, but he's old and he's CC. I mean,
I think
and you got 1 year left in him. So I mean, my argument, and I think I said it to you, Kyle, the other day. I might have even said it to you also, Jared. Was even if you take a hit, give Keuchel the years that he needs. Just as an update of breaking news, Judge just went yachts as we're speaking.
All right.
Yankees took a 2-1 lead. As of recording time, of course, ladies and gentlemen. What was I saying? Give Keuchel, the years and the money. I mean, even if it's 2 years at 25, I mean, sack up and give him the years, give him the money that he wants or close to it, because CC's done after this year, and that's if he's even relevant this year. And on top of it, you're right, Severino might not pitch this year. So I mean, he's a guy that's available and he's good, and we need him.
I'll be honest, I was very surprised that the Yankees were not in the mix on Keuchel, especially considering that they were very adamant about not being interested in Harper or Machado. So once they missed out on Patrick Corbin, because I believe they were in the mix for him before the Nationals just outbid them and they overpaid like crazy for him, I don't understand why they went with re-signing J.A. Happ over Keuchel, especially after Happ's meltdown in the postseason. I know he had a good run, but here's the thing. This guy, at no point during his career, has been a really dominant strikeout pitcher. I don't a guy who he can go undefeated for however many months, and he went on a little run, which is nice. But you just got the feeling like he's the type of guy who you can hit him, and if you can hit him, you can beat him, you could kill him potentially, and that's what ended up happening against Boston. Not to mention the guy's like 36, 37 years old. I know it was only a 2-year deal, but I'm just saying if you were looking for a guy to be your back of the rotation 4 or 5 starter, they should have solidified it with Keuchel, and they would have been in a much better position right now.
So you would rather overpay Keuchel than give Happ what he got? Because Happ's contract is pretty reasonable.
No, it's reasonable. But my point is that if you weren't going to spend the money elsewhere anyway, then why not? Maybe it is a pricier option, but if you're not going to be signing a big money free agent like a Machado or a Harper, then why not just spend it?
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, but I would do that if you're only going to give Keuchel a short-term deal, because now Austin has made this point to me, and he's right. Yankees are definitely looking long-term, because you're going to be giving Aaron Judge that 8-year, $260. You're probably going to have to give Torres a huge contract relatively soon. I know arbitration isn't for another couple of years, but all these guys are doing extensions now. You're probably better off putting that money in front of Torres now instead of later.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, the Yankees they're in that position that the Mets thought they were going to be in with all those pitchers. Yankees are thankfully in that spot with position players who are, much more reliable and don't have the injury concerns so far. But
you can't even say that. We're short.
Yeah,
seven of our starting 9.
No. But we have all the guys.
We don't have an injury concern. Gary Sanchez and Aaron Judge are the only two that are starters.
Well, yeah. I'm talking about the guys that they'll need to pay for. The guys that they'll need to pay for are in the lineup right now. And yeah.
Well, they just paid Aaron Hicks, and the next day he said that he had a back problem. So what the hell, man?
Well, Hicks that was a curious deal. I think that I honestly find it hard to believe that they're not thinking about potentially flipping Hicks in the future, just because having a player that's under contractual control at a reasonable dollar amount per year,
$10 million a year.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
That's very attractive to teams who, if they could package him for a pitcher, potentially, I'm not going to say this year, but they know what they have in Clint Frazier, and they've got other guys coming up in the system as well.
Florial.
Yep. That was the name escaping me, but I could totally see Hicks being moved in the next couple of years.
I agree. I love Hicks, but yeah, I can definitely see him being trade bait. Look at the Giants. What was it, like 2 or 3 days ago? They acquired Kevin Pillar, and Toronto got a pretty good haul back.
Toronto's also just the worst organization on the planet. They're just so dumb when it comes to managerial moves and front office moves.
Well, they had their little window a few years ago, but it's just over now, and they're
just so bad. They're so bad. I mean, look at how much Tulowitzki hates them, and as much as I don't think Tulowitzki is the answer to all the Yankees' problems. I don't know if either of you guys were listening. I think it was a preseason game. I'm sorry, spring training game. Preseason, you know what I meant. David Wells was doing the commentary with Michael Kay or whoever. Maybe it was on the radio, John Sterling. I don't know. He was a guest in one of the booths. And Tulowitzki had that. I think he had a home run where he like bat flipped in front of the Blue Jays and then like, told him to fuck off or something like that when he was running around third base. He like said something to him that was just super obscure and like not acceptable. Yeah. And David Wells went out of his way to defend Tulowitzki and was like, I would do the exact same thing because when I was pitching for them, they were the worst. They're the worst organization on the planet. They treat everybody like dog shit. They don't care about anybody. They have absolutely no thought process in any of the stuff they do. So, I mean, the Blue Jays are just stupid, but that's my rant on Toronto for the day.
And now Vlad Guerrero Jr. is going to
And now Vlad Guerrero, yeah. And there's another one. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is sitting in AAA because they don't want to pay him. He's the right best regardless.
But yeah, he would be anyways.
He should have been up in the majors last year. I don't care if he's hurt right now. They don't want to pay him, and he's sitting in AAA because they are a shitty organization, and he's probably – I don't want to say the best, but he's definitely top 3 prospect in all of baseball.
You know what happened? Blue Jays probably saw that the White Sox paid their guy before he's even played a major league game.
Yep, 8 years, right? 8 year, 40-something million.
I think it was only 6, but either way, that's absurd for a rookie.
Whatever. Anyways, that's my rant on the Blue Jays. So let's get back to what we were talking to originally.
Talk about contracts, yeah.
We were talking about contracts. So as everybody should know, and if you don't, get out from under the rock that you live under, Manny Machado and Bryce Harper signed 2 of the biggest contracts in the history of baseball. And then Mike Trout signed an extension of, 430 for another 8 or 10 years, or 13 years or something, right? 12 years?
12. I think it was a 10-year extension, 12 overall, right? Because he has 2 years left on his deal.
Whatever. Either way, regardless, he signed an absolutely ridiculous extension that pays him even more than Machado or Harper. Machado and Harper got 300 and 330 for 13 was for Harper and 10 for Machado. Does that sound pretty accurate? I don't remember. It was like
Harper 13 330, Machado 10 300.
All right, yeah, so pretty damn close. I think I actually hit the nail on the head. So, yeah, those were the 2 biggest contracts, at least that I remember, of the offseason, pay-wise and time-wise. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think these guys can do for the teams respectively? I mean, obviously, they're 2 of the bigger players in baseball, and they're already putting up numbers to, have the argument of they're worth that money.
Well, first of all, I want to know where the Padres came from.
That's true. The Padres are still going to suck forever. I don't care. I mean, you still think they're going to be good within the next 3 to 5 years is your argument. I don't think they're going to win anything the entire length of Machado's contract. I think he's going to die in California like the rest of the people that live in California, but that's just me.
I'm probably more hopeful because I like seeing these guys in the playoffs. I hate the fact that we never see Mike Trout in the playoffs.
That's true. And I agree with you on the Mike Trout argument because I actually have respect for Mike Trout. I hate Manny Machado. I don't know why. I just don't like him. Regardless of whether he's good or not, I just don't like him as a human being. So I just, like I said, I hope he just dies in San Diego, really.
Robin taking that in Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, with Trout, I'm excited about the fact that he potentially gets to play with Ohtani for the next 10 years or so. Provided he stays healthy. I think they're going to need to make a decision with him, though. He cannot be a pitcher and a hitter long-term in this league. And, I mean, once he comes back, that could be something to watch. But the Angels they've had an issue at pitching for a long time. And, I mean, that's the reason why they've had Trout and Pujols. Granted, it's not prime Pujols, but it's still been productive enough to where I think that if they had the pitching, they would have made the playoffs at least once or twice during the Trout era so far. So I agree. I mean, like when the postseason rolls around, you want to see the best players, and Trout's undeniably the best. So I'm glad that he got a contract significantly higher than Harper and Manny because I don't think that they've
should.
Yeah, that's the thing. Once they sign their deals, that was my first thought was, okay, now that this is official, Harper or Trout better fleece the Angels.
He's still underpaid.
You still think he's underpaid at $430 million?
100%. If he hit the open market, he's getting 500. That guy. Oh man, absolutely.
I mean, how much is too much? At some point, where does it end?
Well, I guess if you think that
he could be the greatest ever. That's
all
not
right,
even.
All right, but all right. So regardless of Mike Trout, now that Mike Trout's locked up, where does it go from here? Who gets the next? 500. Who's the first 500? Does it happen in our lifetime?
We're far away from that because I think that you need to be like a 5-tool player, and if anyone was going to get it, I think it was going to be Trout. And unless, because I mean this was really Harper and Manny's time to get paid, and I mean Harper doesn't even have an opt out if he really turns it up in the next few years. He's locked into what he's getting, which is for the best because he's been very inconsistent throughout his career so far. So maybe it's got to be some hot shot that we haven't seen yet. If there is going to be a $500 million guy, we have not seen him play.
So there's a lot of talk of what contract is Mookie Betts going to want because he keeps going year to year with arbitration.
Truth.
He's not taking any extensions. So I think he's a free agent in 20...
Give or take. We'll just say that for argument's sake.
And he's a guy you can just tell right now he's going to want to get paid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And he deserves it. I mean, he's absolutely disgusting, so why not?
He's not looking to do Boston any favors, so that could be interesting. I could see that getting up there.
Not only that,
surpass Trout, but...
Not only is he to demand a high amount, but the Red Sox just locked up Boggarts. So are they going to have enough...
Boggarts?
Yeah, all right, there you go.
Boggarts?
Yeah.
Would you like tea and crumpets with your Boggarts?
Tomato. Oh my god.
Tomato Boggarts? What the fuck, man?
Bogarts, they also gave Chris Sale an extension.
You sound like Sarah trying to say pillow.
Pillow?
Pillow? Would you like a pillow?
Oh my god. We're off this subject. Okay.
Continue.
All right, so yeah, Mookie wants a lot of money from Boston, but they just paid a lot of money to Xander. I'm just going to call him by his first name. So, because fuck you guys.
And they paid Sale, who all of a sudden can't touch 90 miles an hour with his fastball.
True.
Yes, ever since he came back from that injury at the end of last year, his velocity has diminished.
Yeah, but to his credit, he was still dominant come playoff time, especially in the World Series, and especially against the freaking Yankees, of course.
And in other news, David Price still sucks at baseball.
Well,
he's so bad.
Can we still say that now that he has a ring and actually pitched well in the World Series?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I hate him, but
he's just inconsistent.
He pitched the other day and he got his ass kicked in, man. Yeah. He's so bad.
And they have no bullpen. But I will say one thing.
Well, Red Sox is available. Dallas Keuchel and freaking Craig Kimbrell.
Bring back Kimbrell, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Red Sox got screwed to start the season. I understand the schedule is made during the summer, but the team that wins the World Series should not be starting their season on the West Coast for 11 straight games. Their ring ceremony is Tuesday, tomorrow.
I mean, I kind of understand. I yes, it is kind of, I mean, that's a bad break to have to start the season that way. But let's be honest, at the start of this season, most people thought the Mariners were going to be one of the worst teams in all of MLB. They gutted the whole roster. They went through a fire sale. They literally traded everybody that you have ever heard of.
Yeah, that's true. Off topic, Clint Frazier just ripped a double off Justin Verlander.
Well, a single because he was watching.
Oh, right, my bad. A single because he probably wasn't.
Guys, I'm not watching the game. Don't get my hopes up.
He literally hit the yellow on the top of the wall and just... Yeah, look at him. He's
freaking trotting. You jackass.
Oh, God, man. He missed a home run by like 6 inches and walked to first base.
That's why he got a single, because he wasn't running hard. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a bum. Bench him.
He pulled a Luke Voigt.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, I mean, listen, the Red Sox are still a good team. I mean, they're playing like dog shit right now. I'm sure they'll turn it around, though. I mean, they pretty much brought back everybody other than Kimbrel. Is that relatively accurate?
Is bad.
Oh yeah, their bullpen's horrible. Bad. Actually, isn't Piscotty's over on Oakland now? Wasn't he on the Red Sox last year?
Nah, Piscotty was with St. Louis. Then his mother.
Who am I thinking of? Who's the other dude that was on the Red Sox?
That was on the Pierce?
Yeah, Pierce. I'm sorry, Steve Pierce.
No, he's still in the Red Sox, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I don't know what I was. I was just mixing up.
They lost Joe Kelly out of their bullpen.
Truth.
The Dodger now.
Yeah. Anyways, so we'll see what the Red Sox can do. Maybe they'll turn it around.
I think that they have too good of a team to not get it right. But what's worth noting is that they've been so inconsistent this decade. I mean, this decade they have 2 championships, but they've gone through such peaks and valleys. I mean, yeah, for all the flack that the Yankees get from their own fan base. I mean, we're as hard on them as anybody. They never have hit a point. They've never had a losing season, at least not in the last. They haven't had
26, 27 years now.
Yeah,
we've never seen one in our lifetime, and I'm 25.
Yeah, and
we've never seen a losing season.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and Boston was literally in last place in 2012, I believe, right before they got the 2013 World Series.
Yeah, well, and for last year, Boston went all in to win last year, and they got it done. Give them credit. So now they're kind of facing the backlash.
Well, I think Alex Cora also knows what he's doing a little more than Aaron Boone does. But
oh my god,
yeah, we'll probably get into the Aaron Boone argument a little later in the episode
you're
here.
Gonna get me started on Boone. I'm off the Boone wagon.
Yeah, off the Boone wagon.
All right. I like the way
I was never on the Boone wagon.
I like the way you're thinking right now.
So let's jump over to, we talked about Machado for a bit. Let's jump over to Harper. Harper got another big contract. We talked about that a little earlier. Do you think he's a good fit with the Phillies for as long as he's going to be there? And then my other question for the both of you with Bryce Harper is, do you think the Nationals should have just sacked up and gave him the money and not let him go to a rival like the Phillies?
I think he wanted out.
It's tough though, because it seemed like he didn't. Because at first he was saying he wanted to stay in Washington.
Yeah, so did Robin Cano about the Yankees.
What's up?
Robin Cano said he wanted to stay with the Yankees too. And they're different. The contract difference between Seattle's and New York, the contract difference wasn't that much that was offered. It was more of years than anything else.
That's true.
Well, it was the years, and that's why he turned it down. He wanted 10 years. The Yankees weren't willing to go past 8.
Yeah, like that makes that much of a difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, for them it did, and for them it meant we would rather add Jacoby freaking Ellsbury than Keith Robinson. Worst, I'm gonna say right now. I might have said it on the program before. The worst contract in the history of the New York Yankees organization. Period.
All right, is it worse than Chris Davis?
Oh God.
One stat: since he signed the dotted line for the Baltimore Orioles on that contract, he is hitting 199.
I mean, he's 0 for 44. Is that what it is?
I think he's 2 at-bats away from breaking the record.
He's 2 at-bats from tying the longest 0 for streak in the history of baseball.
Are they playing tonight?
Actually, they are. They're playing Oakland right now. So he may actually be 0 for 46 as we speak. I'm going to find out.
They are currently winning 6-3, so maybe he'd something. Or they benched him.
He's 0 for 3.
He got the record.
He's 0 for 47 since his last hit. And that goes back into last year. So Chris Davis officially, as of Monday, April 8th, 2019, has the longest streak without a hit in the history of baseball. And that is at 0 for 47.
I guess we're giving out the old moment early this
Got it right.
Nailed
MLB
it.
Stats tweeted out Chris Davis 0 for 47 hitless streak is now the longest drought among position players in MLB history.
Horrible.
Oh my gosh,
horrible.
This is like that.
Booed him during his second at bat. Was it yesterday? Booed him off the field.
Oh,
booed him. And then he goes into the dugout, and not a single person even said anything to him. No one in the entire dugout or the organization wants to speak with him. He struck out, walked in, put his helmet down. They put the camera into the dugout, and he walked straight into the tunnel.
I was reading an article.
What's going to happen? Hold on, not to cut you off. What's going to happen when he actually gets a hit? Are they going to cheer him, or are they just going to boo him anyways because he's horrible?
It took him that long.
I was reading an article this morning talking about how he refuses to even change his approach because he said he was in a slump when he was with the Texas Rangers, and this approach got him out of it. And now he's so stubborn that he will not change his approach with the Orioles. I mean, at some point, if you're the GM, you just got to cut him loose.
They owe him $167 million.
But is it worth it to go over 4 strikeouts?
No, he's a few years into it. It's only a few.
I have a great business deal. The Yankees and the Orioles collab to pay half of Jacoby Ellsbury's contract and half of Chris Davis's contract, and then just send them to an island somewhere.
Are you saving any money?
I don't know, but it's hilarious.
That doesn't help anybody.
There was a guy in the stands yesterday. Man. He had a green shirt on. I said Chris Davis fan club, but he had a Yankees cap.
That's incredible.
Oh my gosh,
What I don't understand is how you could just literally be horrible at baseball and still make $170 million. I honestly,
I think
I'm
that
not at
Boston fans, you got
baseball.
two Red Sox fans.
I can almost guarantee you if I got up there 47 times, I'd at least get a single hit.
Absolutely.
At least. I think
and I haven't played since college, which granted wasn't a whole hell of a long time ago. It was still, you're talking 6 years ago. I haven't played baseball. I guarantee you I can get a hit before Chris Davis is.
Just stick the bat out. Something's going to happen.
Fuck, bunt!
That's what I was going to say. After going over 30, I would have tried to bunt or something.
Is that just a dignity thing at this point? Do you just not bunt just so your balls aren't in your stomach? I don't know. Like, seriously, though. How do you just not bunt down the third base line? All fucking 4 infielders are on the right side of the field. Bunt, or left side, depends on what side you're looking at. You know what I mean? The first base side. Bunt.
I'm serious, though. I think that contract is worse than Ellsbury. Because Ellsbury isn't hurting the team.
It has to be the worst contract.
I believe some insurance money.
All right, now, here's the better argument. Which contract is worse? Chris Davis or Bobby Bonilla?
That contract is still going.
Well, Davis is a higher dollar value, so I think that is more damaging.
For this amount of time, so...
When does that end?
2026 or something like that.
So what was
it's another 7 years.
Just a whole bunch of deferred money?
Pretty much what it was they didn't have the money at the time, so they asked him if they could pay him on a deferred contract. The issue was his agent agreed on a contract which in favor of Bonilla. The contract was at 9% interest every year or something like that. So it's stacked on top of itself. So instead of paying him the $9 million they were supposed to pay him for, 35 years, they ended up paying him $48 million for 35 years. So they paid him, and don't quote me on the exact dollar amount or the percentage because I'm not looking at it, but I'm pretty goddamn close. They ended up paying him $1.48 million for 35 years, which equated to the, $48 million, $45 million, whatever it was. Instead of just sacking up and paying him the $9 million, oh, sorry, we don't have it. So we're going to pay you $48 million instead. Yeah. Horrible. I mean, granted, it's only $1.5 million every year. I'm sure they got the money now, but you're still just paying a guy to sit on an island and drink mojitos somewhere.
How old is he?
Got to be 50, I would think. No,
oh my God!
I've speculated this for the last, really ever since the Yankees got hot 2 years ago. I think that the Jacoby Ellsbury mysterious injuries they're fake. I don't think that he's really hurt. I think that they have told him privately to just hey, we'll just pretend like you can't play or whatever. Just hang out in Florida. We'll give you the money. We're not trying to get out of paying you what we owe you. But I think that they know that if you bring this guy in, even compared to that new outfielder, Tauchman, who's the fifth guy because of
Tauchman.
Yeah, Tauchman, there you go. Even compared to him, I don't even think that Ellsbury would hold a candle to his playing ability because he's so rusty at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Even though they're saying he is working out in Tampa Bay. There is a sliver of hope. Actually, is it hope
it's
anymore?
It's not hope. I don't even want to see him play.
Even if he was healthy enough to be activated, can you at this point justify putting him in the lineup ahead of Frazier, Gardner, Judge? And then once Hicks and Stanton are healthy, forget about it.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What would be the point? He's horrible. Even if he comes back, he's still not good.
He's a detriment to the team. It's just like at the end of Teixeira's contract when that was part of the reason that he retired on his own. A-Rod was the one that they forced into retirement, essentially. But
they forced him into a broadcasting contract.
Rightfully so. But even Teixeira, toward the end of his Yankee run, he was getting benched in favor of the younger players. Just because you are getting paid the most doesn't mean that they have a responsibility to put you in the lineup if you're a worse option than other guys.
Oh yeah, no,
agreed. But those are different circumstances because Teixeira was already respected by Yankee fans. World champion. When he was healthy, exactly.
He got hurt a lot, but he still played his heart out. Jacoby Ellsbury has played 6 games in 4 years or something like that.
The thing that really sucks about Ellsbury is, and you can go look at his stats. Before he got hurt, he actually was playing well.
Oh yeah.
End of 2017, he started that wild card game. He actually played well.
He had stretches. His first season as a Yankee was like decent enough. He never
until he
hit
got hurt.
he never hit for the average that they expected, but his first season in pinstripes was, solid enough. 270, 16 homers, 70 RBI, about 40 steals. But that's the thing, even the speed went as the bat did, because I think the Yankees,
Yeah, you're right.
when they were looking for that, when they signed him to that big money deal, they looked at that one season he had for
Oh,
Boston.
I know.
The one anomaly season where he randomly hit well over 300 with 32 homers and 100 RBI and all the steals. They thought that was what they were going to get every year.
Here's a question: how many years has Harper hit over 300?
Ooh,
Has he?
that's tough. I'm gonna look up.
More than once? Yeah. That player poll, I don't know if you subscribe to The Athletic. Everyone, well, not everyone, most votes, because they're anonymous, actually had Harper as the most overrated player. And a lot of the comments were, what has he done besides that one MVP season?
I
He
totally
hit
agree.
330 and 15 and 319 and 17.
Yeah, but 319 was 2/3 of a season. He missed 50 games.
That's fair.
The knee injury, right?
That's fair.
I think.
He still had almost as many hits in 17 than he did 15. He was only 30 hits short. He actually had more hits in 17, where he probably played less of a season than he did last year.
His overall numbers are good because batting average is not a good way to look at a hitter. Unless you're hitting 199 like Chris Davis.
That's true. Well,
Well, you look at average, on everything combined, I think it just doesn't add up to a guy who should be considered top 5 in the league, honestly. He's always just been a potential guy. He had that one MVP season. Obviously he was doing very well in 2017 before he got hurt. I think the way he played in 2018, knowing it was a contract year, is very concerning. Although he did.
Do you know why? Do you know why the Phillies paid him all the money he did?
He's going to make him a ton of money.
Because he puts asses in seats.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. He sells jerseys and he puts asses in seats. I don't remember what the stat was, but there was some ridiculous jersey sales stat on MLB.com. Like,
oh yeah,
the day after they signed him, he made like, $350,000 or something like that, like just in jersey sales within 12 hours of him signing a contract. You're talking 12 hours. Granted, that's going to slow down, but if you have 100 people buy a jersey at $150 every single game, what's that? An extra fucking 50 grand a season. I don't even know if that's the right number. I just actually threw a number out there, but still, I mean, you're talking probably millions of dollars in endorsements, in advertisements, in sales, in ticket sales, ticket production, jersey sales, everything, just because of signing one guy. Because he just brings that, and again, we can argue the stats all day long, because obviously it's a game of baseball. He still needs to produce, but on a business standpoint, signing him was absolutely the right move, regardless of how much money you were giving him.
Yeah,
because he puts asses in seats.
It was Fanatics that you're talking about, and you're right. And it was every athlete in every league. He broke the record for most jerseys sold. I think it was a 12 to 24 hour span.
Yeah.
He even beat out LeBron James to the Lakers.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Well, yeah. I don't like basketball very much, but I think
But you know who LeBron
James to the Lakers is probably not the best move based off of this year's performance. However, yes, no, I absolutely. I mean, LeBron James is obviously, you say that, and everybody around the planet knows who LeBron James is. So to beat out, guys like that within the first 12 hours of signing a contract and jersey sales just proves that the business model was there. And the argument is always, why do they deserve all that money? That's why. It's a business.
I will give Harper this. I agree with everything you said, of course, but despite what I feel is lackluster and inconsistent play for a guy who is supposed to be, if people are going to make the argument that he's the best player in baseball, I don't think he's played like that most of his career. I think that he's shown flashes. He is going to be well protected in this lineup. When you look at who else they've added with bringing in Segura and Real Muto in the offseason, and you're adding them to a core that includes Rhys Hoskins and Odubel Herrera. They also brought in McCutchen, who I don't have a lot of faith in, but he is a bounce-back contender. He's not, his career is
good veteran for that team.
What's that?
He's a good veteran for that team.
Right. I'm just sour because he was so awful when the Yankees brought him in. So you instantly forgot he was on the team last year for the stretch run. It was just pointless. But yeah, nonetheless, I mean, obviously top half of that lineup is going to be really, really damn good for the next several years. So he's going to have protection in there. He should do well. I just don't really like these long-term baseball contracts. I understand why players get a higher annual salary than they used to, but I wish MLB would be more like the NBA. Give guys big money, short-term deals, and no more than 5 or 6 years. After 5 or 6 years, let's see where you're at.
Yeah, we might see that in the next collective bargaining agreement. I think that expires in 2021.
You just don't know, because you could think this guy's gonna be a stud, and then all of a sudden he gets hurt every single year, and now it's like I'm stuck paying this guy for literally the next 13 years. How can you predict what he's gonna be like at age 38?
So he pulls a Chris Davis.
Yeah, pulls Chris Davis, correct. Well, Chris Davis isn't even hurt; he just sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Orioles
no,
fans are hurting.
Yeah, that's true. No, I mean, I absolutely agree with everything said there. I mean, in it is kind of funny that contracts have guaranteed money, agreements. Where's the guaranteed playing time agreement? Where's the guaranteed I mean, granted, I'm sure in that contract, the guaranteed money is based off of, you have to play this amount of time for whatever. I don't read these contracts, but I'm sure there is some kind of stipulation in there. But, I mean, look at Ellsbury. Why doesn't he have to pay back the Yankees? Why isn't the contract null and void? Just because you can say, oh, my back hurts, I can't play any longer. Like, what the hell is that? How can you just say that every single time? Or you're cleared by a doctor, you practice once. Oh, now my knee hurts. It's bullshit.
And I think that what I love about the NFL is the fact that teams can sign players to seemingly big money free agent deals. And if after a year or two, things are obviously not working out, they can cut them and not. I mean, yeah, there's going to be kind of a dead cap hit, but they're not going to be completely screwed to the point where, like an MLB team, the Yankees can't do that with Ellsbury because it would be too damaging to their bottom line. The Orioles can't do that with Chris Davis. But if this was football, they would have been able to release these guys a long time ago.
The difference between Davis and Ellsbury is at least the Yankees have an excuse not to have Ellsbury on the field because he's hurt. Davis is fine. I mean, he steps into that lineup. He's a liability. It's that simple.
I mean, at what point do you just stop playing Chris Davis? Like, why is he even in the lineup
yesterday?
But seriously, I mean, should they have just sat him so he didn't break the record of longest hitless streak? It's so bad. Why are we even talking about this? Like, the fact that we're talking about a baseball player making $167 million throughout a contract and not having a hit in almost 50 at-bats is just absurd. Absurd.
It's not even believable.
He's literally, I mean, is his batting average 0 this year? Is that a thing? It has to be.
Without looking, I think it's like 130.
He doesn't have a hit.
Oh, shit.
That's what I mean.
Why am I thinking maybe last year was like 130.
Yeah, he doesn't have a hit. He's probably walked a few times, maybe. I know he reached on a fielder's choice the other day, which, sorry, buddy, still counts as an out. Like, maybe they'll change that in the rule book so that you put an asterisk next to your name in the worst hitters ever. But, like,
yeah, you're right. It's 0. Why am I even looking this up?
He's like 0 for 27 on the season. Because I think he started 0 for 20 since last season.
Last year he was 168.
Dude, he's Jared. Jared, he's batting 0.
Yep. Yeah. He's hit rock bottom.
This isn't even rock bottom. He didn't even hit rock bottom. Somebody picked the rock up and dropped it on top of him. This is 0, Jared.
I
could hit better than 0, Jared.
I want to know if anybody has bought his jersey this year.
I'm gonna buy one just out of principle that somebody's gonna support the fucking
maybe
guy.
A Yankees or a Red Sox fan would buy the jersey. I'm sure they'd love to wear it.
I'm sitting here making fun of him, and he's making $167 million.
Laughing all the way to the bank.
He's laughing all the way to the bank. I'm making fun of him. You know what? Good for you, Chris Davis. Good for you.
What a work.
What a world we live in, boys. What a world we live in.
What a world.
Oh, God.
Wow. Okay.
What an absolute joke.
Yeah.
I could talk about this all day just because it's so goddamn funny.
This is a new level of futility. Yeah, so I think that we should get into what we all want to get into, because 3 of us are all Yankee fans here, pretty serious, and
serious.
we got to
because of this team.
I think you have gray hairs because you have a child.
Yeah,
to do with the Yankees.
At least Yeah, I'm afraid to put a Yankee shirt on him. He might get hurt.
That's true. Just
So
don't buy him a Chris Davis jersey.
He'll strike out in T-ball.
Oh shit! All right,
oh my
let's
gosh,
continue.
this is
Yeah,
going, all right,
the
so
Yankees.
yeah, we got to give our 10 game state of the Yankees address, and basically, the season started and it seemed like somebody had a Yankees voodoo doll somewhere because somehow half of the opening day starting lineup wound up on the DL, including our ace pitcher. I'm sorry, it's the IL now. So
Oh my God.
Severino out until May, potentially longer. Andujar might miss the whole season. Stanton, biceps injury. Hicks, his annual back or oblique injury. Am I missing anybody? Tulowitzki.
Yeah, well, the sky's blue.
Betances.
Tulowitzki's hurt again.
What's going
Betances hurt.
What's going on?
What?
I have a question.
Yeah.
When someone signs an extension, don't they get a physical? How did nobody see either Hicks or
I don't know
Severino?
if they sign if there's a physical with an extension. I think that might only be pending contract signing.
You could be right.
I mean, I could be completely wrong. I have zero idea. I just for some reason I don't think I've ever actually heard of a pending physical during an extension. I feel like extensions are just it's like a raise almost. It's like, hey, you already work for us. Let's not drug test you again. We're just going to give you a raise. It's kind of, I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
you
wrong,
could be right. I just feel like it would be smart to give someone a
Well, I mean,
physical,
yeah,
but-
or like if you're going to sign them for more than 5 years, they should get a physical.
Yeah.
But even then, what's a physical going to show? I mean, unless they're going to give a full MRI or CAT scan of somebody's back. I mean, what's I don't even remember what Hicks's injury is anymore. What's it?
It's his back.
It's
his
his
back.
back. So, I mean, literally, I mean, nothing's going to show that. I'm not a medical professional, but you can't just stick him on a machine and predict that his back is going to blow out or he's going to have back spasms. I mean, maybe like an EKG, but I have zero idea. I don't even know what the fuck an EKG does.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Wait,
So like,
EKG, that's for the heart.
exactly, that's my point. But like, so like, what is going to show back spasms, like future back spasms during a physical?
Well,
Nothing.
certainly not an EKG.
Certainly not an EKG. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's my point. I mean, even if he had a physical, nothing is going to show a pending injury like that.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what's
I
gonna
agree.
I'll tell you what's going to show his something about his durability. How about the fact that this guy's only topped 100 games twice in his career so far? Most he played was last year, 137, did include a DL trip. I mean, he played 2017, played half the season. The guy's injury prone. I'm sorry, he's streaky. When he's on, he's a lot of fun to watch. I like Hicks. I like what he brings to the lineup when he's on his A game. But
one of the best defenders.
I'm sorry, say that again.
One of the best defenders in baseball when he's healthy.
Oh yeah, without question. Dude's got a cannon in the outfield. I like him in center. He's got like kind of a unique speed to him. Like, he's not a speed demon that's gonna steal like 50 bases, but he's tall and he knows how to carry himself well with the long legs. He legged out, I think what he leg out in the Parker last year. I remember maybe even 2.
I think it was 1
in Detroit, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I don't think he's a bad player. Do I think the extension was bad? No. I think he's a solid fielder. He's a solid hitter. I mean, I other than just dumping all money into Harper, I think he's a valid option for a starting outfielder for the Yankees.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, even if you look at free agency next year, it's
empty.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so what are your options? Extending him. It sucks that he's hurt, but at least we do have guys like Frazier who are stepping up and actually doing something clearly. Had a couple home runs yesterday, and he's starting to come around and contributing. And if he can contribute on a regular basis, get Stanton back. Even if you DH Stanton, you could sit freaking Bird, start Voit at first base. DH Stanton, start Bird at first base, sit Bird, Frazier. Get Gardner out of there because Gardner's 177 years old and was around when the dinosaurs went extinct. And start, Frazier, Hicks, and Judge in the outfield or something along those lines. I mean, I think you can really solidify the lineup by getting some of these idiots out of it, like Greg Bird, who struck out 3 times again tonight. He's just so bad.
I think that if this Severino injury persists, and even if it doesn't, I think that the Yankees have to be hoping that, Bird maybe gets a little bit of momentum behind him somehow. They get him enough playing time to where he starts swinging the bat well enough to attract trade suitors, because they have a surplus of position players, and
Oh, absolutely.
they got some question marks at the back of the rotation. I think Domingo, he hasn't looked bad so far this season, but I'd feel more comfortable if they were able to get, a really good guy who's around 27, 28 years old, maybe a little bit older, that you're really confident going out, throwing out there to give you 7 innings every time
How
out.
old's Dallas Keuchel?
Yeah.
31 or
Oh,
32.
all right, a little too old, but whatever.
It's a pipe dream, but I would love to see the Yankees grab Mad Bum.
Yeah. No, I think his asking price is going to be a little too high for what they're willing to give up. I think that
Definitely.
You're looking at like a Hap level pitcher, but hopefully somebody like that who's a little bit younger. I think, somebody who's an innings eater.
All right, so throw a name out there. Who do you got? Not to put you on the spot, but who are we thinking about?
Trade possibilities?
Trade
Sure.
possibilities. Man, I got it. I'm
Who
thinking.
needs them? Who needs a guy like Greg Bird?
Nobody.
I'm just trying to see what could we actually, what reality is there other than, we need a pitcher, let's trade Greg Bird for it. And I'm not knocking your argument. I absolutely agree with it. I'm just thinking what team out there is, let's trade a good 27, 28-year-old innings eater strikeout pitcher for Greg Bird.
I'm trying to think somebody who would come at like a decent value. Like, do you think that the Brewers would be willing to part with one of their starters? Maybe no.
They're trying to win a World Series.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Not with how good the rest of their team is.
All right,
what would be the point?
Yelich is already.
I mean, Yelich is disgusting.
Favorite.
I mean, what's the point of, all right, let's get rid of our second starting pitcher for Greg Bird and another piece of the Yankees puzzle.
I wouldn't go second. I'm looking at more of like a 3 or a 4 starter, because they have Tanaka and Paxton, who even without Severino can anchor the top of that rotation. What they need is, they need somebody behind him, because obviously Sabathia he's not the guy that you want to be starting postseason games. We've established this already.
Absolutely.
And Domingo, we know, like, come on, you throw that guy out there in a playoff game, like I can already see he won't make it out of the second inning.
Probably not. I mean, he pitched yesterday. He pitched well.
Very well.
So can't knock him for that. At least he's contributing.
You know what?
He's stepping up.
Here's a name for it.
People need to step.
Here's a name for it. Zimmerman on the Tigers. They're probably going to be pretty bad this year. Maybe that's something.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah. Not a horrible option.
Veteran guy, crappy team.
I'm not saying for Bird, but that could be a realistic possibility.
Yeah, well, and then the other flip side of it was, let's sign Gio Gonzalez. Maybe that'll help. And then he gets absolutely rocked in his first AAA start. He started in AAA and gave up 3 runs on 3 hits and lasted 2/3 of an inning.
It won't happen, but here's the name for you. And I hate them, but it doesn't matter. Zach Wheeler. Would the Mets deal him to the Yankees?
The Mets, I mean, I don't know. I think the Mets are they should contend this year, because that division is going to be such a dogfight. I don't see any team in that division winning more than like 91 or 92 games. So that could mean that. Yeah, I really think so. Because here's the thing: they are all so. I think that they're all like just about ready to break out without truly standing tall above the pack. That they're all just going to steal wins from each other.
I could see it being a slugfest between Atlanta and Philly. I don't think the Mets have enough hitting. That's just me personally.
Yeah, I guess so.
The Mets could be a flash in the pan with the momentum that they have right now. I mean, it looks nice, but we saw last year that they weren't able to sustain it. So, I mean, Cano could be that extra piece to that lineup to really put him over the top, and obviously Pete Alonso is doing very, very well. So, you got Jeff McNeil, Dominic Smith, guys with...
What's the deal with Cespedes? Is he playing this year?
Still hurt, I think.
I haven't heard a thing. I know he's hurt. I just don't know if that's a long-term thing. I don't follow them all that much.
My buddy,
I have zero idea. I'm going to look it up, so if I'm silent, I apologize.
That's all good. But yeah, I mean, I do see the Mets falling out of it, but I do think they will be within reach, I think, in August. Once September rolls around, we'll separate the men from the boys, but I don't think they're going to
Oh,
be
no
buried.
doubt.
I don't think they're going to be buried like they were last year.
I think this is going to be a much better season than a lot of people predicted.
For
Just in general for the league, a lot more parity. Yeah. I think even teams that were pretty quiet this offseason have a lot of good young talent, which is why they're quiet.
Yeah. No, yeah. I'd agree with that. Which teams in particular you have in mind? Like the Twins, maybe?
I'm trying to think. I think I had the Twins making the playoffs.
Speaking of the Twins, just for a little side note, I did just read across the ticker that the Giants acquired ex-Yankee Tyler Austin from the Twins.
Yep,
it's a cool little spot for Tyler to end up in. I'm sure he'll start over there. Honestly, he could probably fill an immediate role for them. So
I thought Austin actually kind of got a bad break from the Yankees. He just came in at a bad time when they had like 10 first basemen.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
They just didn't have a spot for him. But honestly, I think they did what was right for him, was try to send him somewhere that he could start, because he wasn't going to start with the Yankees. He was going to ride AAA until the day that he died.
I just hated that trade.
I apologize.
Lance Lynn is terrible.
Absolutely. However, I think the right move based off of for Tyler Austin's career and just as a fan of a player that I enjoyed watching was to send him somewhere that he had an opportunity to play. And granted, I think he just rode AAA for the Twins for a while. I don't even know if he started on the Major League roster.
I know he played after acquiring him last year. I'm not exactly sure what he did this year. Yeah,
I think he rode AAA pretty much all year. But, good for them sending him over to, San Francisco, and good for San Francisco seeing a talent that they could pick up and use him. Hopefully, like I said, a kid that I enjoyed watching put his heart into the game, and hopefully he'll end up in a spot that he can start.
So how are we feeling about this Yankees lineup given the current guys that are injured?
I don't. You can't say anything yet until they get healthy. I mean, they're 5-4, which is nice. They're up 3-1 right now, bottom 7 against the Astros. Hitting Verlander pretty well. That's a good sign.
All things considered. I mean, listen, I think that there are guys that are struggling that were expected to struggle. Greg Bird. And there are guys that are stepping up. Frazier, I'm not saying he's playing out of his mind, but
the last couple of games he's been playing out of his mind.
That's what I mean. Had a couple home runs yesterday. Had another single tonight.
Torres.
Sanchez has been hitting the hell out of the ball. Had 3 home runs yesterday. Had another rip down the line just last inning. Was at the top of the 7th there. So and Judge had a home run. And he hit a foul ball that was relatively close to being a home run in another at bat. His second at bat or third at bat, whatever at bat it was this game. So guys are stepping up. I don't think it's an ideal situation. I mean, honestly, I don't even know who the hell is playing third base.
Urshela.
Urshela. I mean, I have no idea who the hell this kid is. I'm sure he's decent, but it's not the roster. It's not the lineup that we expected to go into the 2019 season with. So it is a little scary. It's a little scary seeing the guys that you expected to be playing on a regular basis, not playing. And God forbid, knock on wood, with this many guys out, all you need to see is
Sanchez just dropped. All right in the nuts.
Should I say more?
Foul ball.
Literally.
Oh my gosh.
As I'm talking about
you can't say stuff like that.
Sanchez takes a fucking foul ball off the nutsack. You can't make that shit up. That's literally what I'm talking about. The last thing we need is somebody to pop a nut, and Sanchez takes a foul ball off the testicle. So
it's his penis, doctor. It's his penis.
The last thing we need is somebody else to get hurt and be out. A guy like Sanchez who's hitting the hell out of the ball, or a guy like Aaron Judge. I think he got hit the other day in the wrist or something.
That was
Void.
Great. You're thinking about Void.
And this is the state of the Yankees. He made a fantastic diving catch and basically saved and won the game.
I watched that and I literally thought of Hideki Matsui as he was diving. I was like, he's going to Matsui.
Everyone's first thought wasn't, great catch. It was, shit, he broke his wrist.
Literally, I remember that. He dove head first and he pseudo rolled his wrist over and then somehow brought it back to normal position. And he was fine, thank God. But that's the shit that can happen. Down this many guys, Judge goes to dive for a ball to save a game, snaps his wrist, and he's out for the rest of the season.
Yep.
And that's the last thing
wrist
that
hurt last year too. I believe.
That's. I mean, even at 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, full strength, the last thing you need is Judge or Sanchez to go down. And Sanchez went down for a lot of last season, and so did Judge. Judge was out for what, 3 months or something like that, 2.5 months.
Well,
So
that's the thing.
It's tough. It's tough seeing a lineup like this with the potential for another major injury. I mean, we're 10 games in. There's 152 baseball games left. Anything could happen. Roster this slim.
It's true. And I think that a lot of people forget the fact that Gary Sanchez was practically absent from this team last year because he missed half the season, and when he played, he was abysmal, batting under 200. Pops.
I think he was hurt all year. I really believe that.
Yeah. He just didn't look himself because people are just quick to forget that it wasn't long before that people thought he was going to be right there with Judge anchoring this lineup, that he was going to be one of the premier power hitters in all of baseball. When he came in his rookie year and absolutely lit the world on fire, almost won Rookie of the Year, even though he only played in 2 months, maybe 50 games. I mean,
yeah, he should have won Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, the kid's crazy talented. So if he bounces back to even become a respectable power hitter, let's say 30 to 35 home runs and 80-something RBI, that is much, much, much more than you got out of him last year. Now let's say that he comes closer to that elite form, like one of the best power hitters in the American League, and we're talking more like 40 home runs, 100-something RBI. Judge produces at that level. Stanton comes back and produces at that level. Torres continues at the clip that he's on right now, building off of his season last year. And, I mean, then you go down the line. LeMahieu is making wonderful contact so far this year.
I love him.
Yep.
I told Austin, I texted that day saying you're going to love this guy.
Yeah, that was a great move.
That was the guy I wanted in the offseason, even ahead of Harper and Machado.
That's the thing, because the Yankees have enough home run hitters. What they need are guys that are going to slap the singles, slap the doubles,
absolutely.
And move the
and
chains.
guys with no ego.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just budget guys that can just fill up the roster, fill up that lineup, and just solid defensive players. And, everybody was, what was his name? Oh God, the kid that lost his outfield spot.
For what team?
The Yankees.
Starter?
I can't even think right now. In spring training, they brought in. No, they brought in. Didn't they bring in LeMahieu and like?
Oh, Tyler Wade.
Tyler Wade. Yeah, thank you. Tyler Wade. He was second base. I'm sorry, you're right. Second base. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, but you know what I mean. But the Yankees brought in guys that they could see that were going to fill up the lineup and fill up the defensive positions that were weak, so good for them. And LeMahieu's great. So I'm totally cool with that.
You know what, LeMahieu...
Not to change subject, we'll continue in a second, but I did, just to trek back to that Cespedes note before I forget, he says that he's confident he'll return in 2019. However, he doesn't know if it'll be July, September, or August. July, August, or September. So odds are he's not playing this year.
Shock, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I just wanted to make everybody aware because I did say I would bring that up. So Cespedes is not playing and has no idea when he's coming back, if he's coming back. So continuing on the Yankees.
Actually, can I say something? It's a little off topic too. Earlier, we were talking about extensions. If I'm the Yankees, I'm offering Torres an extension now before he gets even better.
So that he doesn't get his ego in a bunch and go somewhere else?
Not even just that, but you could see him getting a $200 million contract. Why not throw it in front of him right now? 8 years, 120.
Yeah, just see if he'll bite on a lower number so you don't have to pay him in the offseason.
Security, like Ronald Acuna Jr., right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, Acuna took a big contract too, yeah. Yep. But and give them some incentives. Hey, you win an MVP or you win a
All-Star game.
You get into the All-Star game. Here's another $100K or a Gold Gloves $150. Throw some incentives at him. Make him want to play better. Then he plays out of his mind. He makes another $1 for the year. Great, fantastic. Fire away. No, I don't disagree. It's worth throwing it out there, seeing if you could save a couple bucks. If you could save 80 mil, that's screw it. Why not? Because you're gonna have to dump it into Judge anyways.
Well, that's the thing is that I don't know if it's gonna.
Brian Cashman will get ran out with pitchforks and torches if they don't freaking extend.
Oh,
or
Judge is
re-sign
100%
So
getting a huge contract.
That's what I mean. But if they don't, for whatever ungodly reason, somebody will actually kill Brian.
Oh,
Cashman.
the entire franchise.
Well, they were saying last year they were talking about using Torres as trade bait, and Cashman's response to the question was, "I have to walk around in this city."
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah,
literally.
No, you can't.
Torres, he's a cornerstone for the next 15 years if we're lucky.
I think so too. I mean, there's so much potential with that kid. But back to, it's funny you mentioned LeMahieu, because you know what I see when I see LeMahieu? I see a 2-hitter. But when Boone looks at this lineup, he thinks that Aaron Judge, despite the fact that Giancarlo Stanton is injured, he thinks that Aaron Judge should be hitting second.
Is it Boone or is it the analytics team? I don't think Boone makes the lineup.
I think Boone's a puppet and Boone's a bum.
100%.
But either way, I mean, you're the last guy to sign that lineup, handing it to the umpire. Screw the analytics team. You're the manager for a reason. You're the guy that is supposed to be there to not listen to. I don't want to say not listen to the analytics team, because that's what baseball is now. It's all computer generated math. You're the guy that's supposed to have the gut feeling of what you're supposed to do in a situation. And right now, especially with the injuries, Judge should not be batting second, because they're just throwing him junk. It's curveball after curveball after curveball. And if we walk him, whatever. Granted, we're very, very, very lucky that Voit is hitting relatively well and Sanchez is hitting pretty well. But if the two of them don't hit well and Judge walks or strikes out every single time, because they're never going to throw him a fastball, what's the point? If Voit and Sanchez can't hit, what's the point of throwing a pitch to Judge? Because he's going to hit a home run. Spike it in the dirt 4 times in a row, see if he swings. If not, put him on first base and strike the next 2 guys out.
Yeah, you actually said this last year, and I fought you on it, and I disagreed. The more time goes on, you were right. Judge should not be in that 2 spot.
Can we just put that on record? The fact that
it's on record.
It is on record. It's recording.
He's hitting.
Kyle said I'm right for the first time in my life, guys.
It's because you are right for the first time in your life. He hits so many solo home runs. It's actually hurting the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Absolutely.
And you look at when he was
just hit a solo home run this game. Not to cut you off, Jared, but you put LeMahieu in the 2 spot, Judge in the 3 spot. LeMahieu slaps a single, Judge hits a home run. It's 4-1 and not 3-1.
Deep in the lineup.
Stupid.
I mean, I understand if you want to bat Judge ahead of Stanton, sure, but why not put them back to back at 3 and 4 when he's healthy? Could you imagine the fits you're going to cause for pitchers? Who you got to pitch to somebody, right? I mean, it just creates so much. It makes it so much easier on the opposing teams to pitch around Judge when. I mean, let's be honest here. Voit has had a couple big games, but other than that, he's hitting under 200 so far to start the season. So it's been, for the most part, the opposing pitchers have figured out the formula here. We can afford to put Judge on base because Voigt's going to strike out or hit into a double play.
That's exactly what I was just saying. What's the point of throwing to Judge when you could just get the next guy out?
And
walk
not
him,
so much they had
spike
games
4 in the dirt and see if he swings. If he does, great, you struck him out. If not, you put him on first base and you get the next guys out. So you put a guy like LeMahieu before him, and if he gets on, fantastic. If not, Judge still hits a solo shot. Or if not, then they have to pitch to Sanchez next.
It's more.
It'd be nice if Sanchez. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna build off what I said with Judge and Stanton, but also having Sanchez with his back coming alive. Because before this season, I thought that they were because I think they did start an opening day with Sanchez hitting in that 6th spot because they're cautious after last year. But with him getting it going, if you have Judge, Stanton, and Sanchez consecutively in that lineup, I mean, you're golden from there. You get guys on base, then guys are going to see meatballs.
Yeah,
Stanton
but,
backs up.
That's the point of having a loaded roster, but unfortunately with the injuries, we just don't have that.
Stanton bats behind Judge, they say, to protect Stanton protects Judge. Correct. I think Judge needs to protect Stanton.
I mean, I think Stanton's either going to strike out or hit a home run regardless of who's in front of him or behind him.
But if Sanchez is hot and he's behind Judge, then Judge is protect too.
Yeah.
I understand that. I like Stanton behind Judge just because with Judge, I think you get a little bit more patience at the plate. I mean, it's weird if you look at the strikeout numbers, but the on-base percentage, he's actually, I mean, for a guy who strikes out a lot, he also draws a fair amount of walks. So I like having a guy who's between your heavy hitters, the one who's a little bit more likely to get on base in other fashions. I like him hitting ahead of Stanton, but I mean, I see the flip side to what you're saying as well. I think it would work either way.
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, before injury, I believe Stanton was on base 9 out of 15 at bats this year. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Huh.
Not bad.
The more you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stats.
Yeah, and on that
Stats.
on that lineup note, I understand why Torres has been bumped up due to the injuries. When this team is fully healthy, no disrespect to Glaber, I love him hitting like eighth. I think it's.
I agree.
It rounds out the lineup so well
Yep.
because it avoids that dead spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no shame in it because Robinson Cano at the start of his career, his second year in the league, he was within the top 3 in the American League in batting, and he was hitting eighth or ninth because the Yankees lineup was in a similar scenario at that point because they had A-Rod, Jeter, Sheffield, Matsui, Abreu, Posada, guys like that. So it's not bad just
The
because
good old days, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah.
The championship days.
Yeah.
World Series even.
I got spoiled growing up watching, Paul O'Neill and Posada and Tino Martinez and
Bernie.
Oh man.
Jeter.
I miss
man.
it. I miss it. Yeah. Those days are over, boys.
Hey, no need to be sad. They are just coming off a 100-win season, their best season since 2009.
Just a funny little note on this year and the correlation to the last time that the Yankees won the World Series.
Yeah.
Yankees last won the World Series in 2009. And does anybody know who we started the season opening up against?
You told me Baltimore.
I did tell you the Baltimore Orioles. So I'm just saying, it's a little note.
I feel like they've played a lot of opening days against Baltimore, though. They're division rival.
I'm just saying.
They do that like a lot.
I didn't want to spoil his moment.
I'm fishing for a reason to have faith, all right, guys? All right. Well, on that note,
did you know that the year they won the World Series, they woke up in the morning and got coffee?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Damn.
They also played at the new Yankee Stadium.
They sure did. They sure did.
Did you know that I went to the first baseball game in the new Yankee Stadium because it was an exhibition game against the Cubs before the season even started?
That's awesome.
And just out of principle, I was the first person to ever fart in the seat that I sat in.
You would. That's you.
Yep.
So, ladies and
This is
gentlemen,
random,
when you tweet about this
Yankees...
show, please do so using the hashtag Yankee Stadium seats are for farting.
Absolutely.
I'm Grant Random.
Hashtag call to the bullpen. Hashtag Yankee Stadium seats are for farting in.
Oh, man.
Yep. Grant Random's Week in Review.
Yeah, thanks, Grant Random.
Yeah, that's
the more you know.
The more you know.
That's it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, since we're back, it's only fitting that we bring back the signature part of the program. Austin, it's time for... Moment of the week.
Jared, kick it off.
All right, gonna kick this baby off. Old moment goes to the ex-Steeler and newfound Oakland Raider Antonio Brown for complaining on social media about Juju Smith-Schuster fumbling a potential Steelers win against the Saints late in last season and essentially blaming him for causing the team to miss the playoffs. We all know that he was salty because Juju was voted team MVP over him, even though the numbers back up that statement. And, I mean, gosh, prima donna wide receivers in the NFL, man, are a complete cancer. And this guy managed to talk his way out of Pittsburgh, a team on the downswing that really had no reason to want to trade away a superstar caliber player with the way the Ravens kind of leapfrogged them this past year, and the Browns we know are trending upward. Antonio Brown was such a locker room cancer that he managed to essentially force these Steelers to giving him away for nothing in return. For nothing in return. And really, this just goes to show you why. The fact that they were content with getting rid of him for what they got back, because this guy is
he's a miserable little crybaby prick.
Such a crappy human being and a crappy teammate. Good riddance and good luck wasting away what's left of your career in Oakland.
Oh, just like Manny Machado, another sports athlete to die in California. Anyways, yeah, no, that's a good one. Antonio Brown's a little crybaby. I forgot who it was, but there was a cornerback that tweeted, um, talking about that whole situation, pretty much saying that he can't wait to just smack Antonio Brown right in the mouth when he's playing against him because of said reason that he's a little crybaby bitch.
AB right before he posted the slam tweet, he tweeted like 2 hours prior, "Keep your emotions off the internet."
And then posted his emotions on the internet.
Uh-huh.
Nice. All right, Kyle, what do you got?
I'll keep mine short and sweet. I'm sure any baseball fan knows Chris Archer threw at Derek Dietrich.
Yeah, Dietrich, I think is his name.
So Dietrich hit a home run earlier in the game off of Archer, and he stopped and he admired it for a little bit. In the fourth inning, Archer throws behind Dietrich's back. But here's the thing. Every time Archer strikes someone out or does something pretty big, he hops off the mound, he dances, he stares into other dugouts.
So wasn't he the one that used to shoot the freaking arrow into the sky too?
Nah, that was
Fernando Rodney.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, go ahead.
And but yeah, so Chris Archer has no problem dancing all over the mound, all over the field when he he strikes someone out. But if someone stops and stares, it's beanball time. It's ridiculous.
And well, you want to mention what happened afterward?
Oh yeah, there's a big brawl.
How Puig tried to fight
Puig tried to fight the entire team,
the entire Pirates by himself, to the point that whoever was holding him back managed to get thrown to the ground trying to
grab his foot.
Yeah, he fell all the way down, was like grabbing his foot to try to stop him.
Jesus.
But I think he was going after Cervelli at that point. I think he said Cervelli sent something to him, and it really pissed off Puig.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chris Archer, I've had it with him.
He's been
ridiculous.
He's been a little bitch forever. And the Yankees were trying to get him for a while, and I even said that to my dad. I talked to my dad about baseball a lot because he's a huge Yankee fan too. And when he brought up Chris Archer, I was like, I just hope for the love of God they don't get him because he's
not even that good.
He's not good, and he's just the worst.
He strikes people out.
So frustrating as a human being to just watch play baseball. Ugh. Anyways, so good one. Yeah, both two players being just total crybabies. So I have two. Both of them are relatively funny. One is actually local to somewhere close to where we host the podcast, and one of them is in the MLB. I'll start with the local one. There was a local team in Ridgefield, Connecticut, where the baseball field that they were playing on was a little too wet for their liking. So instead of, going to Home Depot and buying some Speedy Dry like every other fucking person on this planet that, I don't know, plays baseball and has a wet baseball field, they decided to buy 24 gallons of gasoline, dump it on the field, and light it on fire.
What could possibly go wrong?
I'm just saying, 24 gallons of gasoline at $2.70-something a gallon is a lot more expensive than Speedy Dry. You could have gotten a pallet of Speedy Dry and used a bag and a half of it and still had another 40 bags of Speedy Dry left over for the next time your field got wet.
That must have smelled so bad.
They decided to light the entire field on fire. And if you look this up, look up Ridgefield, Connecticut, like, I don't know, baseball field on fire or something.
Oh, it's gotta be.
They had just 5-gallon jugs of gasoline sitting on the dirt, maybe 5-10 feet away from where they lit it on fire. Like, and there's, hold on. Let me retort my own point here. There was 20 plus people that decided this was a good idea. There was 20 plus people that decided this was a good idea. No one in this group of adults was like, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't light this baseball field on fire with a bunch of kids around and 25 gallons of gasoline next to it. I'm not understanding
the best part
where their thought process was.
Even if the fire went down and didn't go up in blaze, you're gonna run all over gasoline?
Oh yeah. Burnt ass dirt. And it was a softball field, I guess. Like they were playing baseball on it, but it was an all dirt infield. So I mean, I guess I don't want to say it's not like it was any better but there was no grass that they lit on fire. So I guess it wasn't the end of the world, but still, I've played baseball for a long time. I've coached, I've umpired, I've been around a lot of baseball and on a lot of baseball fields. And I don't think I've ever heard or even had someone mention the idea of lighting a wet baseball field on fire. I don't understand. I literally can't comprehend it. They invented Speedy Dry for a reason. Push the water into the grass, dump Speedy Dry on it, rake it around, wait 20 minutes, and then play your fucking Little League baseball game. High school, whatever. I'm sure they sucked anyways. My second one goes to the Texas Rangers. And this happened yesterday. And again, I'm not exactly sure what's going on here, especially in the world of the major leagues where there's cameras all over these people. And there are kids that watch this game. However, Joey Gallo hits a home run against the Anaheim Angels. Sorry, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, whatever the hell they're called now. Anaheim. The California Angels, we'll call them. Him and Nomar, I think I'm pronouncing this right, Mazzara, decided to celebrate just outside of the batting circle by jogging up to each other. And they didn't bump, they didn't bump fists. They didn't bump forearms. They didn't chest bump. They decided to grab each other by the dicks. And I'm not really understanding why. But, it wasn't even subtle. It's not like one of them, accidentally bumped the other one in the genital region. They reciprocated each other by just full palming each other's dicks. I don't get it. Again, I've been around baseball for a long time. And people celebrate in a lot of different ways. But I don't think I've ever seen somebody celebrate by grabbing another guy's dick and then the other guy reciprocating by grabbing the other guy's dick. Kyle, you played baseball with me for a long time.
Yep.
Have you ever seen this?
No.
Jared?
No.
Are you speechless?
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, and I mean, guys, I come from the world of professional wrestling, and I've never seen anything like that, right?
I can't say that. Who's the guy that lets people grab his dicks and he makes them do flips?
What? No. There's been a dialogue with me and some others about that. We do not support that, and I've never been on a show with that.
Violence. Yeah. No,
we don't hang around with the dick guy. We don't hang around with the girl that throws up on people's dicks. People do that. Not on our show. PG, family friendly.
I don't understand. This is a Major League Baseball game. Yeah. There are 20,000 plus people watching your game.
Grab his dick. Yeah, why not?
Sure. Race where they sell 600 tickets. Granted, it's the Rangers. They're not much better. There's still a decent chunk of people that go to these baseball games, and there are kids watching all over the planet. And you are just going to just stroll up to each other and then just full palm each other's dicks and balls. I just don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
All right, good. I'm glad we're on the same page.
There's a lot of dick. Yeah, too much.
A lot of dick.
Got to be a fine for this, right?
Oh, absolutely. That can't be
acceptable.
It can't be. It's whatever. That's our own moment for the week. People are just idiots. That's all. That is just summing up the old moment for the week. Is people are idiots. The human race is stupid. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap that up. Just over an hour here. So we recorded this on 4/8, so Monday night. So this is the 10th game of the baseball season, 11th game of the baseball season, something like that. Yankees opening up against the Astros. We'll give you another update in a week. We'll be back next week, usually on a regular basis now that we've started season 2 again. Or not again, but started season 2. We'll be doing this on a weekly basis. We're going to try to have some more guest hosts, bring in some friends and family for interviews and just to talk and bullshit, different fans of different teams giving their 2 cents about how they think their teams are doing this year. Maybe Kyle will come back a couple times if he feels like it.
Yeah,
I mean, Kyle, for coming on this time. I think this was a really good chat. This was our first legitimate baseball chat of this season, obviously, because we just came back and I think it went really well. So thanks for coming, buddy.
Yeah, fellas, thank you. This was fun.
Cool.
Awesome. No, I just want to say that I think that going forward, feeling kind of liberated in a way. I mean, listen, we love football to death, love talking football, love the fact that we were able to cover every single game that happened throughout last season. However, just the longevity of the baseball season and the fact that there are so many games going on, it just opens. I think it opens us up to different conversation possibilities, and we could just kind of literally just that's what we did tonight was we just started it up and started winging it. So
Absolutely.
looking forward to
Yeah,
these more.
football's very like, oh, these two teams played. Here's the score. This is what happened. This is what we think. Like, you can only talk about so much when like it's just once a week. You talk about one game, and you got to talk about just that one game. I mean, this is you get to talk about series and the future series coming up, and different players getting hurt and different this and different that, pitching matchups, batting matchups, lineup changes,
I
stuff
think
like that. I mean,
with baseball,
Aaron Rodgers
yeah.
is always going to be the starting quarterback, but Aaron Judge doesn't always have to be the second hitter. So you can definitely change those arguments up.
Yeah, with baseball,
So.
you look for trends, I think, which is great because there's like I said, there's just so many different things and different angles you can take on it as the season goes on, and yeah, I'm just happy the fact that it's back and it will be here for the next 6 months, and we hopefully we have a lot of more good stuff coming.
There's a news story in baseball every single day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm biased. It's the greatest sport in the world. And
yeah,
seriously,
baseball's
I can talk
back,
about it all day.
Gents. Call the bullpen's back. Baseball's back. It's going to be a good summer. Looking forward to it. Give us your input on this episode, as always, on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Check us out at Call to the Bullpen Podcast on Facebook, at Call to the Bullpen Podcast on Instagram, and at Call the number 2 the BP on Twitter. As always, wherever you're listening, whether it's iTunes, I haven't done this one in a while. Let's see if I can nail it again because I just messed it up. iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, Stitcher, and YouTube. We're also on Google Play, if anybody knew that. I just found that out today. Yeah, I had no idea.
A new one. That's another one to memorize.
Yeah, I don't know. We've been on there the whole time, but I had no idea. We're on so many places, I just can't remember. But wherever you are listening, please let us know so that we can, know if it's going well or if we can change anything on the actual host that you're using. And if not, there's other places you can listen to us on. And just, as another note, Greg Bird struck out again 4 times tonight.
Oh my God.
As always, this has been Called to the Bullpen. Kyle, thanks again for coming. Hopefully we'll have you back soon.
I'd love to.
Jared.
This has been Call to the Bullpen.
And we're hanging up.